Oh, hey guys, this is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and welcome back to Sentinel Reviews. Sorry about that, I was just going over my notes for today because today we are talking about the Doctor Who New Year's Day special, Resolution. As always, I will be talking spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, I recommend doing it. And wow, I I don't know where to start. First of all, let's go back to Series 11, and I'll just get my basic thoughts out of the way before I delve into the details. Thinking back on it, Series 11 had good episodes. It had episodes that I recognize as good. But Resolution is the first episode I actually liked. You know, and yes, I want to stress there is a difference because what's a good example? Citizen Kane. Great movie. Everyone says it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I don't like it personally. See, and that's the difference here. Because, like, Rosa, Demons of the Punjab, Kerblam, all good. Great episodes in some cases, but it's just. Yeah, it's like, I saw it, it's good, I'm good. But here, like I said, Resolution, I liked this episode. And I feel like I just found different ways to say, like 7 different ways to say the same thing over and over. But, yeah, now that that's out of the way, I did have issues, I did have critiques, so let's just jump right in. First of all, the prologue. It explains that 3 armies got together a long time ago in Earth's past and defeated this creature, and then they were so scared of it that they decided to cut it into pieces and keep the pieces, scatter the pieces to the far corners of the world. Yeah, I didn't like this. It just came across as very convoluted, and in the long run, over the entire course of the episode, it seemed to really have no effect. Like later in the episode, one of the side characters here mentions the Order of the Custodians, which seems kind of like a stupid name, but what can you do? And it's just, yeah, there would have been better ways to get the plot along without any of this stuff. Especially because, as the prologue explained, these soldiers and later their descendants guarded over the pieces of this creature, which I'm getting to. And then, the opening, we see their descendants, and then that's it. There could have been so much done with this. But now let's get out of the way to the big one, because this is the one everybody saw coming because it was in the trailer. The creature is the Dalek. And it's time to talk about this. I feel like I haven't talked about this, or if I did, it was really fast. The Daleks are my least favorite monster/villain in Doctor Who. Yeah, one of the most iconic monsters of the series and possibly of pop culture is my least favorite. I'm sure you've all heard about it. In the past, as far as the revived series is concerned, there was that stipulation that every series had to feature an appearance by the Daleks. And for me, personally, I want to be well heard, this is just my opinion, that ruined the Daleks for me. Because writers had to do the Daleks. They couldn't do the Daleks when they wanted to. They always had to show up. It even got to the point that in Series 10, there was no Dalek story. They had to cameo in other stories. Also, because of this stipulation, we got what is, in my opinion, the single worst episode of Doctor Who. Series 9, Episode 2, The Witch is Familiar. So that's it. The Daleks are my least favorite monster because of their sheer overuse. And it's even gotten to the point that great Dalek stories like Jubilee, Genesis of the Daleks, I really like the mutant phase, even the War Doctor series. even great stories are brought down by the fact they have Daleks in them. Again, this is all just my opinion, but there you go. So, knowing that this was going to be a Dalek story, I was expecting to either think of this as average or to not like this. And I did. One of the strengths, I think, was it's just one Dalek. You know, because then we don't fall to the reverse ninja theory. Council of Geeks did a video on that. I'm not going to explain it here, but I will link to his video because it's really interesting to see. So it's, and this episode, at the very least, made the Daleks threatening again. Because, you know, we go through this episode and the Dalek is killing people left and right. Which I think the last time we saw Daleks straight up killing people was Time of the Doctor. You know, well, we didn't see them kill people, but there was the whole centuries-long battle of Trenzalore, so it was very heavily implied. Even into the Dalek, but that was more... That was something else, kind of. But yeah, no, left and right, we see the Dalek killing people. I had issues with the sort of opening. Like, I even talked about it on Twitter. It's like, I had issues believing that a Dalek mutant, actually, the inner workings of the Dalek, could survive for centuries cut up into pieces. But then people reminded me, oh, this has been talked about, kind of, like the Dalek sewers in The Witch's Familiar. I can't believe I have to credit that thing with something. But yeah, no, it's like, once it was explained to me, yeah, I got a little more used to it. And I was even okay with it calling the pieces back to it, because, you know, the Daleks do have telepathic abilities. No, I'll save that for a little bit later. And then we cut back to the Doctor and Co., the TARDIS team. I'm not calling them fam, just, yeah. No, for years it's always been the TARDIS team, so that's just what I'm used to calling them. And first of all, in my Ghost Monument review, I mentioned one of my biggest issues with the 13th Doctor's TARDIS was the lighting. It looked too dark, it made it look kind of claustrophobic. My other big issue being the roundels. I'm not going to get too into that. Here, the first scene we get of it, the 13th Doctor's TARDIS looks so much better. It's so well lit. I still have issues with the roundels. Just the ones that aren't lit, one, look like steering wheels. Two, going through all the other Doctor's TARDISes, the roundels always felt like they had a function. And like I've said, the 13th Doctor's roundels feel less functional and more cosmetic. That's my big thing, but no, it's just seeing how much better her TARDIS was lit in resolution. It just looked so much better. I still love the crystals, and then I actually caught something that I missed in previous episodes because of how it was filmed. So, you know, you have the 13th Doctor's TARDIS console, and you have the time pillar in the middle, which is a giant crystal. The time column, sorry. And then surrounding it are these crystal pillars. And, you know, because every time the Doctor was at the console, the camera was always focused on her in Series 11. I always missed it, but seeing it here, when the TARDIS is working and the pillar is going up and down, the tops of the crystal columns go up and down with it, and I just thought that was really cool. I'm even inclined to say, and I'm still debating it, but the 13th Doctor's console room may have replaced the 8th Doctor's as my favorite. And Jodie Whittaker was spectacular in this episode. Like, because this is the reintroduction of the Daleks, so much of this episode had to hinge upon her and her acting and reacting to and with the Dalek, and she did spectacular. Like, in a lot of these scenes, especially when she realizes it's a Dalek, she sells the fear of these things. Something that, again, I thought was lost with previous Dalek stories. That by the time it was like, oh no, it's a Dalek, there was just... The Doctor tried, but there was such a nonchalance about it. And it's like, no, Jodie really sells how dangerous this thing is. And I guess now is as good a time as any. One of the things I like is that we get a lot with the Dalek mutant. In the past, it was always kind of said really fast, almost in passing, that a Dalek out of its casing, the Dalek mutant, is still extremely dangerous. And they actually did... the first half of this episode was dedicated to the Dalek mutant, the other half to, the completed Dalek casing and all. And no, you buy that even out of its casing, a Dalek is still a threat. I'm trying to think that... Yeah, I'm trying to think because, we got a full shot of the Dalek mutant. And I'm trying to think whether or not this looked different from past mutants we've seen. And it's just hard to tell because, every time we've seen them, they're still sitting in their casing. And it's just... I don't know what it was. It looked like there were more tentacles, or... I didn't see any eyes, but who knows there. Yeah, it just looked... the mutant itself looked different. I'll get to the Dalek, don't worry. The side characters were just kind of there, Mitch and Lynn. Like, Lynn did really good at showing how, at one, being a human Dalek, long story, watch the episode, and two, she did a good job of showing how traumatic this was for her. Mitch was just there. Speaking of side characters, I guess this is a good time to talk about Aaron. After all the talk about him through Series 11, Aaron, Ryan's dad, finally shows up. And it's good. We get a lot of good stuff here, but... it just feels out of place, It's like Arachnids in the UK. We meet Yaz's family, but it feels out of place with the rest of the plot. Speaking of, now that we're on the companions were okay. Graham, here's the thing. Most of the stuff with the companions was taken up by this subplot of Ryan's dad being back. So, until really the last act, they really didn't get anything to do in regards to the Dalek. Except Yaz, and once again, Yaz got shafted. I do like her. She has grown on me, but if they had to write out a companion, I would say it would be Yaz. It would have to be Yaz, or they have to really develop her in Series 12. What else? I kind of ghosted over the whole Ryan's subplot thing. The subplot with Ryan's dad, so... But no, I like the scene in the cafe with him and Ryan. I like the scene with him and Graham. Especially the way Graham says it. It's like, family isn't a name. It's not DNA. It's what you do. And you haven't done enough. But like I said, that with the Dalek stuff just feels out of place. And even when Aaron sees the TARDIS and helps everyone with the Dalek, it still doesn't work. Okay, now what else? Okay, back to the Dalek. This one isn't a critique, this is just an observation. I noticed this episode had a lot of similarities to Order of the Daleks. Spoilers, by the way, for my next unboxing, which, because I did a lot of January pre-orders, probably won't be until February. But yeah, no, because I just finished listening to this, there was a lot of similarities between this and Resolution. And this isn't a critique because ultimately they were two vastly different stories. I just kind of had to chuckle because of all the notes I found. Like, they both concern stranded Daleks. Both stories involve the Daleks taking on human hosts. In order, it's more telepathic, whereas in Resolution, it's more parasitic. And both stories revolve around the Daleks making makeshift casings. Where in Resolution, it was done on a farm, there was lots of scrap around. In Order of the Daleks, if you can't see that too good, they make their casings out of wrought iron and stained glass. I just thought that was a fun observation. And yeah, a couple times the Dalek is fought back by their hosts. Again, it's not a ripoff of Order of the Daleks. They are two vastly different stories, but... well, I guess there's no other time, but the Dalek itself. I liked the scrap design. It kind of had a steampunk vibe to it. And everyone's saying, oh, this is the new Dalek design. This is horrible. No, it's not. It was made very clear this is a one-off Dalek. You know, and there were things I liked about it. I liked that at its base, the balls held weapons of their own. They held missiles. It's like... because every time I looked at a Dalek, I've always just wondered, what is the function of those? So I liked that. I have to admit, I liked the claw more than I liked the plunger. The weirdest thing for me was that middle section with the gun and the claw, because it was just like, huh, the Dalek has a torso. That is weird. That can't think. Also, this is another new Dalek, you know, like every so often we'd have the Daleks and then we'd get new Daleks, like the Special Weapons Dalek, the Emperor Dalek. In Big Finish, we had things like the Dalek Time Controller. This is a Dalek Scout. But yeah, for me, there's a weird dissociation with that. A Recon Scout. Because, you know, I play a lot of fantasy games and RPGs and stuff, and just Scout gives me a different connotation. Someone who moves fast, isn't really built for combat, but can fight, but more relies on stealth. And just, this thing was armed to the teeth. Again, not a turning off point, but it's just a weird dissociation with me. I like the Doctor's confrontation of the Dalek. I don't know who said it. I think it may have been Stephen Moffat. Or it might have been in the Doctor's Revisited. I don't know who said it, though. The measure of any Doctor can be found when they confront a Dalek. And while it's not one of the best scenes, after the casing is built in the scrapyard, I enjoyed 13's confrontation with the Dalek. Trying to think more points. Oh, I skipped over it. A little bit before the casing is built, the Dalek casing is built, and the Dalek is still using Lynn as a host. There was this quick cat and mouse game played between the Doctor and the Dalek, and I liked it. It was like, okay, I'm hunting it down, I'm tracking it through the cell phone signal, it destroyed the cell phone. Okay, I'm going to try it telepathically. Oh, it blocked me. Okay, I'm going to try it through the cameras. It's destroying the cameras. It was a really quick, really tense cat and mouse game. And, you know, taking a human host, destroying all the cameras, or, you know, constantly countering how the Doctor is tracking it, and then building its own casing. It really shows the ingenuity of the Daleks and adds to their danger. What else? Sorry, I have so many talking points and they're all just loose in my head. So I'm just trying to figure out. Let me see my notes. Okay, real quick, I just wanted to talk about it. The scene where Lynn is building the Dalek its new casing, I liked it. I thought it echoed the scene of the Doctor building her Sonic and the woman who fell to Earth. It had that strange mirror quality to it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. The unit thing. This drove a lot of people up the wall. And I had to stop and think about this for a long time. I didn't mind that unit was disbanded or shut down. What I had issues with was that it was done as a joke against Brexit. That kind of cheapens it a little, like Chris Noth's character in Arachnids in the UK. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It felt cheap. And that's all I'm going to say on the matter. But here's the thing. Everyone's saying, oh no, they shut down Unit. Unit's gone. No, it's not. They did not say Unit was disbanded or shut down. They very clearly said Unit has been suspended. It's not gone forever. It will be back. Let's see, I talked about the Dalek being threatening again, so I feel like talking about the scene where it fights that battalion would be a little redundant. Although there is one thing I will mention. Over the course of Series 11, I praised the CGI. And here really was the CG's first misstep. While the Dalek is facing down the military, a soldier fires a rocket at it, and the Dalek counters by firing a rocket back. And there's the scene where the two rockets meet, and that scene looked terrible. It really was the first misstep with the CG taken. Is there anything left to talk about before I get to the climax? No, I guess not. Well, a lot of people have said, a lot of people were here. Okay, here's the thing. I live on the West Coast of the United States, so for hours, everyone I follow, everyone on Twitter was talking about Resolution, and just a lot of times with Doctor Who and stuff, just because of where I live and the time zone I live in, I feel like the last person to watch it. So, and I don't mind spoilers. I don't do reaction videos, so I'm okay with it. But, so yeah, everyone was talking, like I said, everyone was talking about specific things on Twitter, like the Dalek itself, Unit, and the way they defeat the Dalek, or at least destroy its casing, with specifically the microwave. Because, and here's the thing, when the A plot, the Dalek, and the B plot, Ryan's dad, meet, it's very clunky. Because in an earlier scene, Ryan's dad mentions, like, oh, I'm trying to do right. So I'm working with a guy selling these high-quality microwave ovens, but it kind of feels like I'm doing a scam. And then here, in the climax, they actually use the microwave oven, which people were talking about. I think it worked. I think if I stopped to think about it, I might have issues, but in service to the plot, it worked well enough, and the Doctor supplied enough techno-babble that I wasn't bothered by it. Didn't like it, didn't hate it, just wasn't bothered by it. I didn't really talk about Aaron that much. I just said that his whole subplot fell out of place, but I liked Aaron, Ryan's dad. Like, all through Series 11, well, not all through, but every so often through Series 11, Ryan would badmouth his dad. And, you know, when we finally meet him, it's like, oh, he's not a bad person. He's just a man who's made mistakes. And, you know, it really ties back into Demons of the Punjab. The moral of Demons of the Punjab, of how people want to remember their lives, you know. The person we meet is different from one person's perception of it. And I'm glad he didn't die. Just at the end, when the Doctor flew the TARDIS into a supernova to try and suck the Dalek out into the gravitational field, it looked like Aaron was going to die. Which I think I would have been okay with. I honestly don't know. That's one of the things, that's one of the pluses over through Series 11. I will give Chris Chibnall. He made death mean something again. That was one of my big critiques with Stephen Moffat, especially with his companion exits. It's like, I'm dead. Not really. I'm just going on in a way that promises you'll never see me again. And just conversely, Chibnall made death mean something. Is there anything else? Let me look at my notes. Doctor sells the fear of the mutants. We do a lot with the Dalek mutants. I wrote 2 pages of notes, by the way. The Dalek, the torso, it overrode the sonic screwdriver. I didn't really talk about that because, yeah, I already talked about how the Daleks were made threatening again. Okay, yeah. So, I'll just wrap things up there. Holy, 27 minutes! But yeah, Resolution may not be one of the best episodes of Jodie's era. I think I might put it somewhere in the middle. Maybe close to the top, but not quite at the top, but definitely somewhere in the middle. But however, that being said, I liked this episode. And honestly, more so than Series 11, I think this episode has real rewatch quality. Like, I want to sit down and watch it again. Ultimately, I think I'm going to give Resolution an 8 out of 10. So, that was my review of Resolution. What are your thoughts? What did you guys think? Drop a comment below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Click that little bell next to subscribe. I'm not doing the whole spiel because I've been talking for 27 minutes. My mouth kind of hurts. In the link in the description below, you'll find the link to my Twitter where you can get updates on me and the channel. And this is Sir Jedi Sentinel. I'll see you guys next time.